Fit 15 on July 29th at the Downtown Marriott in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
What's up, Mad World? It's Coach Sess, and I am taking a look at the main event for Fight For It 15 with George Koppa taking on Jonathan Martin. It's in the pro ranks of MMA. One thing I want to do is I want to give both of these guys some credit for, first of all, being in the main event. Not everybody gets to be in the main event. Being a guy who's trained a lot of fighters, been on a lot of showcases, not everybody gets to be in the main event, even my own guys. No matter how well I thought they were performing, you don't get to be in the main event. There's a certain mystique and aura that makes you a main eventer. And I've been watching these two guys, not just in preparation for this show, but previous to this, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of talent here and a lot of skill and athleticism that probably is so nuanced that people don't pay attention to it. Koppa is going to be the older fighter in this fight, but you wouldn't know it based on his actual movement. This guy has the genetics, probably athletically, of a 25-year-old, about 10 years younger than what he really is. And then Martin is sneaky because, you look at his style, he's got this almost traditional karate style, but he makes it work. I can guarantee you not many traditional karate guys that can get in there and do what this guy's doing athletically, physically, strategically. So I'm paying attention to this, and I see some, like I said, some nuanced things to both their games. And it's not so much that I've changed my mind about who wins or who loses. What's changed is the difficulty. So my original thought was that maybe Jonathan just takes Koppa to the ground, avoids striking with him, and grounds and pound or submits him. But now I'm looking at this fight and I'm thinking, okay, we're going to see a round two, because Koppa's going to be the most dangerous guy in round one, physically, experience-wise. Because Jonathan still has to get in there and take him down. He still has to get in there and take him to the cage. And Koppa has a decent clinch, so it's not going to be easy to just drag him down to the floor from the cage. Now, fights happen over time, so we don't know what he's been working on inside of the gym. The one thing I got out of a previous opponent with Koppa is that he's hard to hold down. And if your body isn't designed and you're not ready to be taxed of this guy constantly getting up and over and over and over, because Koppa, that's got to be his style. I think he's accepted the fact, I'm not a wrestler, so I'm going to get up and strike. And if he's got that mixed energy system training inside of the gym where he's getting up, striking, getting up, striking, getting up, striking, he's going to be able to wear down his opponent come Saturday night. Now, with that being said, I understand a little bit about how Tom Ziegler likes to train a fighter. Tom likes to account for all of the possible scenarios that may happen. You're not going to get them all, but you definitely want to be on the other side of 80%. That this may happen, that may happen. And a lot of it that I'm talking about has everything to do with energy, and especially what the last 5 minutes look like of that fight, what round 3 looks like. If you prepared for round 3, then I expect to see Martin at that point do what I may have suspected that he would do previously in round 1. At that point, he's going to be able to push George up against the cage, take him down, and eventually finish him. Watching Martin's last fight, or one of his last fights, where he won a championship, he's really good about lasting and blasting. In other words, he kind of hangs on and digs little sneaky shots, and he's not taking any punishment. All right? We're not talking about lay and pray, because what was happening was his opponent was trying to push him up against the cage. He'd do a good job of reversing that position, pinning him up against the cage, but he wasn't in a hurry to snatch his legs from under him. He wasn't in a hurry to separate and just go berserko with a heavy amount of strikes. He would simply last and blast. He gained dominant position and then let his hands rip. And sometimes it wasn't just a volume that was noticeable. It was hitting the right target or loading up with one big punch or one big strike rather to the target, forcing his opponent to make the mistake and then capitalizing on the mistake when it went down to the ground. Lasting and blasting. So you're going to see two contrasting styles here. You're going to see a Koppa, who I believe is going to have just as much in the clinch as Jonathan will. So that's where the battle will be fought. It's going to be two different styles of clinching, because Jonathan's is going to be, again, what I've termed as lasting and blasting. He's going to soak him. He's going to sap his strength. Whereas George he wants to hit. He is going to let his hands go. He's going to do damage. All right. And it's just a matter of who enforces their will and skill in the clinch. All other things belong to the individuals. You give me the long distance range, George Koppa all day. You give me the contact and the grappling, Jonathan Martin all day. So it's going to be a spectacular fight, one that you need to see. That's Fight for It 15, Saturday night, July 29th. I am Coach Sess, and you've had words with the Mad Coach.
Fight for It 15 on July 29th at the Downtown Marriott in Spartanburg, South Carolina.